These are the instructions for putting your quote boxes on all your spreads. Make sure you watch the whole video so that you can see all the designs available before you start putting them on your pages. I'm going to be using English and math as the examples. English has a vertical quote box. Math has a horizontal quote box. Let's start with English. When you go to English, you should have a place on your spread designated where you wanted your quote boxes to go eventually. When we did our templates in the beginning, if you hover your mouse over templates, you're going to see a lot more things have been added. Let's look at the ones that are vertical because that's what this one needs. Your choices are a box where there is a question at the top and then a whole bunch of people answer at the bottom. An example of that from a previous year would be on our Special Interest Clubs page. And it's great when you have a ton of people who return your quote sheets, your surveys. This doesn't always happen, but certainly it's a way to get a lot of people quoted on the page. And you can do it with one question. Or in the case of last year's community service page, we had a couple of people answer one question really well. And then a few people answer another question really well, but not all one single question. So we broke it up into two questions. You were able to do that with this design. So that is one design. Another design would be one where there are Polaroid pictures, where there's one question and 1, 2, 3, 4 people answer it. Another example is one where the Polaroids aren't as lined up. They're kind of tilted to make it look more casual. They even have a little drop shadow behind them. And then the last example is one where you would try and cram as many people with cutouts as possible. Yes, this is Dolly Parton, so that we would remember to change this later. But one question, it could be multiple questions, where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people answer. A good example of this from a previous year, I want to say, I think basketball had it. Yes. This, of course, is a horizontal one, but this turns out really nice when you have action shots of people rather than mug shots. Or if you cannot get action shots of people and mug shots are the only thing that you can get, you know, kind of them lined up in the hallway, as long as they're consistent, that would be fine too. But this is what this template will allow you to do. So those are vertical choices. Let's go look at horizontal choices. They're very similar. When you go to the templates, first delete your gray box that was a placeholder. Drop that in. This one I do not recommend because it's only one question and only 4 people answer, but hey, math department may run into that problem. Not a lot of people like to answer math questions. This one allows you to one question and 7 people answer. Then this one is the one similar to that basketball one I showed you, or one question and a bunch of people with their cutouts, action shot or mug shots would answer. And I think that's all. All right, let me show you some details about these kind of layouts. First, don't worry about any eye lines you have set up. This one fits perfectly, but if your eye line kind of goes over it, we'll deal with that later. And then this right here is the most frequently asked question I get when people drag in a template and they're like, oh, I can't type anything. If you look closely, this has a dotted line around it. That means it's all been grouped together just for easier moving around until you're happy with where it goes. When you're ready to start editing it, you need to go to Object, Ungroup Objects, and now when you click away, now they're all editable individual pieces. One other thing I want to point out is, you know I can't spell, but I actually do this on purpose. I want to make sure that these placeholder dummy text blocks are seen, so I on purpose went through and spelled something wrong in every block so that we would remember to fix this later. Next, as far as a person's name goes, on our pages where there's going to be mixed grades, like one person will be 11th, one person will be 12th grade. After this, after their name is going to be a comma and a space, and it's going to be the person's grade. Now, when it comes to 9th grade, you just need the 9. Do not do the 09, okay? Just do 9th grade just like that. Another thing I want to point out is that, of course, we do not need to do blue on every page. Click on the box, and up here you have all these choices. This is going to be up to you once the page is more developed and you start seeing, what are the most common colors here. So far for this one, I'm thinking probably the darker of the two reds is going to be best. Remember that the eye line eventually gets deleted, and all that you're left with are going to be the colors of your headline and the colors of your quote bar. Leave your eye line there, though, for a while, though. This is one of the last things that we end up deleting. So, also, you can modify this if you need to. Let's say when math is getting their quotes together and it turns out that we'd like to, cram in one more person, you can completely move these around and change them if you want to accommodate more people. So we can add in some more people here. Just make sure that when you do that we're being consistent on width and height. If you look up here, this is your width and height boxes. If this one is 411 and 77, this one needs to be 411 and 77 as well. This is something we'll do at the very end, but you can paste as many people as you want to on here as will fit. You don't have to be stuck with just 7 people answering your questions. Also, when you're finished typing in things, sometimes these things kind of get unlined up. Here's a trick. Go to your text tool, your moving tool, your arrow key, and click on the text box and hold down the shift key while you select others. This up here is the arrange objects. I call it the liney uppy tool. Click on that, and this one on aligning objects across the top will now get everything nice and aligned up. I wish there was a button for them to all be the same size, but there's not. All right, so now you've seen different options. You see all the different templates. You see how you can change the colors. The only thing I don't want you to change are the fonts. Those do need to be consistent. And you can decide if your quote box is going to have pictures or not, and also how many people you plan to put there can be changed later.